Hi there. It's 98 degrees here in lower Alabama right now. They say it's going to go up to 100 degrees. Well, at 98 with the humidity like it is, the felt temperature is 107 degrees. And I'm kind of crazy out here right now in the heat of the afternoon doing what I'm doing, but it's kind of necessary. I've got a couple of steaks to cook and doing it old school. Stay with me. Good old fat wood. Come on now. Yeah, I didn't want to lose that. Making do is a way of life. When you come up in this world poor according to the standards of the society, and that's what I did. We were very poor coming up, and we learned how to do things on our own. We learned how to make do and makeshift and those sorts of things. And making do has a significant application in the world of bushcraft, in the world of survival, because you have to be able to go into an environment and take from that environment and utilize the resources in that environment in order to get along. Making do is still a part of our life here in the woods, here at our little cabin. And if you can see behind us over there, behind me, there's a little clearing. At the beginning of this adventure, we were going to build a cabin, a little small cabin, and opportunity came up not long after the clearing was cleared over there to purchase a ready-made shed type structure that was already partially converted into a little cabin. And so we went with that option because it was already so much of the work had already been done. It was in place, and it was just a smart move on our part. And dollars and cents wise, we were able to do that cheaper than buying the materials to construct on our own the cabin that we drew the plans up for, and it's basically about the same size cabin. The one that we bought is 288 square feet on the inside, and it has a lofted ceiling with lofts at both ends for storage space. And we'll put a photo of the front of the cabin. We're in the process of painting it and getting it sealed real well. for the years ahead I don't ever have to do it again. So we're doing a good job the first time, and hopefully, you know, my time and its time will kind of coincide. That's the plan anyway. I got to stir my fire. Downsizing for us from 1,250 square feet to 288 square feet was both about both quantity and quality, not an either or thing. It's not a, you're not choosing quantity over quality or quality over quantity. When you go into this downsizing thing, having really studied it out and embraced the idea, you discover that downsizing to something with such a small footprint as this 288 square foot cabin gives you not only more life, but it gives you better life. And that's what we've discovered. October 21st, excuse me, October 21st will be our 3-year anniversary of living in this little cabin. And the more we're here, the longer we're here, the more we love it. The disadvantage that we have right now is, like on a day like today, I don't know if it's changed in the last little while. Let's see what the weather bug says about our climatological circumstances. Right now it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit and feels like 106 degrees. It's pretty hot out here, and cooking over an open fire is something kind of crazy to do on a day when the heat index is 106, 107 degrees as it is today. But what we're dealing with is our small space. As long as the temperature stays 90, low 90s and below, we have a 10,000 watt or a 10,000 BTU window unit that cools the cabin quite nicely. In fact, if the mercury is at 90 or below, we never run it above, never run the fan above low. On days like today, when it is so blooming hot, a 10,000 watt or 10,000 BTU air conditioner, it has a little bit of trouble during this time of the day keeping it 75 degrees inside the cabin. So rather than adding to, you know, rather than turning on anything inside the cabin that generates heat, I'm out here doing this. And I'll show you my setup that I've got set up now. It's different than what I've had out here before. I've been playing with tarps for years now, but it's a huge tarp, a 12 by 24 that I'm using right now to create an outdoor kitchen, outdoor living room. One of the really important things about having this overhead is that we're sitting here beneath a rather large pine tree, and there's pine trees all over in these woods, but that rather large pine tree is constantly dripping pine sap, and it gets on the benches, it gets on everything. But that tarp, having something overhead, catches the drippings from the pine tree. That's very helpful. What do you do while that steak's cooking? Well, right now, this time of the year, pick wild blueberries and eat them. This one's loaded. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just loaded with berries. They're not as good as they were last year, but they're still pretty good. Yes, indeed. That's going to be fit to eat, folks. Appreciate you hanging around with me. I'll see you on the next one.